You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the July 15th meeting of the Michigan City Urban Enterprise Association special meeting. You can find more information for this meeting at www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Roll call. Nick. Here. Jim. Here. Sylvia.
Here.
Bruce.
Here.
Rodney.
Oh, can you just go?
He's muted out.
You gotta unmute.
You gotta unmute. Copy. Well, first thing first, is there any amendments to the agenda?
Yes, I would like to amend the agenda to talk about bylaws and executive, where is the executive director's contract as well as attorney retainer.
Is there anywhere specifically on the agenda you want to amend it to?
I don't go anywhere on there.
Do I have a motion to that effect? You don't have a second to that?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So we'll start off with bylaws.
Okay, so do everyone have the, what's the 2023 bylaws?
It's on our Google Drive.
I got it printed off right here.
Yeah, but I know on there it says draft. We have the finalized, she brought the finalized copy today. So, I can send around and review, but I think that we need to go through the bylaws. If you have them, can you pull them
I'm
up?
looking for him. I didn't realize we were doing that today, so.
Okay, no problem. It was just,
It's the same one from the draft, right? From
The date is gonna be different. If you guys want me to send
This
it
one
an email
says
real quick, I can send it.
June 29th,
Please do,
2023.
Yeah.
I get
The one that's adopted March 2004, is that it?
no.
No, that's the old
Them the ones
bylaws.
that I was abiding by as well.
Give me just a second. I'll just send a new email with everything.
Great, okay, so I haven't seen the new ones.
You got extra copies?
No, but I
Just that
just,
one?
Oh, no, wait, here, 2023.
Yeah, and I wrote the signed copy as well,
Yes.
the original.
so,
You sent the electronic, I looked at the wrong one on my
That's okay.
file. All good.
y'all can let me know when y'all have them.
It's sending right now.
Do you have the executed one that you're sending?
It has the signatures on it and everything. So if you go into your email as soon as it sends out, how well my signature is in here.
Thanks.
And here, you can have this one.
I'm back.
It's still showing to me out first.
Okay, so email.
Okay.
Is it the final
It
copy?
shows sent.
October 2023.
Yeah, this one has the signatures that I just sent, like it's the final signed copy.
This right here says October 16th.
16th.
Yeah, okay.
Great, thanks.
No knowledge, I mean, I'm
It's all
assuming we're
yours.
allowed
It's
to
just
change the
like it's
agenda, but
okay.
it seems like with it being a public meeting, are you allowed to change the agenda like that?
You can amend it, yeah.
Not against it, I was just curious.
Yeah, and then if we don't have enough information about something, it can be tabled until the next meeting, that just puts it as like a rolling item that we need to address.
Yes. And that's probably what's going to take place, because we probably won't be able to answer a lot of the questions, and because everybody hadn't had opportunities to kind of review, I'm just bringing up some processes and procedures that our bylaw states that, you know, we kind of should follow moving forward, and it's important for us as new board members and even for older board members to kind of understand what we're doing, because I know Bruce had a lot of questions. I had questions. I don't know if anybody else had questions regarding bylaws, but I wanted to bring it up. So in our bylaws, it states that our meeting, this is the first portion I want to talk about. It states that our meeting is the third Monday of every month, or is it quarterly?
It's supposed to be every month.
Okay, so it's every month. So this is the third Monday. So based upon bylaws, I don't think this is a special meeting. I don't know.
There was an email thread that went around that, I don't know if you were like part of it, but we had talked about, majority voted on not doing a regular meeting, canceling it, and just doing a special meeting to address specific items.
Okay, so our bylaws state that it can be a special meeting if it's at your actual meeting.
Okay.
It is. Today is actually the day we were supposed to meet. It is the day that our bylaw states that we're supposed to meet. So just, you know, moving forward, maybe we just retain the understanding of our meeting dates and the difference between a special meeting. A special meeting would have been something like, we're going to have a meeting last Thursday on a special day for a special reason, or right after the meeting. And that's just if I'm clear. If I'm not, then, you know, you guys can.
I guess from my understanding of what you're saying is that since our meetings are always scheduled the third Monday of every month, technically our meeting is always scheduled. So for a special meeting would mean just to meet around the date that's already specified for everybody that already knows it.
Yes.
If I'm understanding that correctly?
Even
Yes.
though we weren't addressing all of the monthly items,
We
it
should
still
have
would be considered a special meeting, or a regular meeting?
It's our meeting day.
Okay.
I was under the same impression when I read them. That's why I stressed in the email that I felt like we should just continue on with the regular meeting as scheduled,
Yeah.
because it would have fallen within the 5 days that was required for notice for the special meeting regardless. And if there is something during the regular meeting that we don't want to discuss, it could always be tabled until the following meeting.
I gotcha.
I guess
According to the bylaws.
not to cut you, I guess I'll take some fault to that. When I spoke to Gabrielle, she told me that in the past, this is what they have done with when they did have a problem with the treasury, with the finance report, that they called a special meeting. But I'm now going to understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I understand we can just go forward with
Yes,
just a regular
clarification.
meeting.
Yes.
So thank you for that.
No problem. That's all because I want us to kind of move forward, all of us on the same direct path. The second portion of the bylaws is, I would like to the election. The election, everybody should vacate seats in November.
Point of order.
I'm sorry?
I just said point of order, I'm just waiting on the president.
What's your point?
The point is, this is not on the agenda. I think that Sylvia is bringing up good points. I think that these.
Not to cut you. Not to cut you off, we amended the agenda. I don't know if you broke off or you weren't able to hear. We amended the agenda. Yeah, so I guess that was delay, and we amended the agenda. This was added onto the agenda by Sylvia, and it was voted on by bylaws, and the ED contract were added onto were amended to the agenda when we started.
So was attorney retainer.
So I'm sorry, so was the attorney.
Are we calling this a special meeting? Are we calling this our regular meeting?
We just had that conversation too. I guess you broke up, Ms. President. I guess you can explain to him what we just established.
We established that there was no need for a special meeting because this meeting was already scheduled. This was our regularly scheduled meeting to begin with. Are you able to hear me?
Did the email go?
I'm under the
Yeah, I
impression
just
on
got
the
it.
agenda, it says special meeting, correct? On the meeting notice?
No.
I don't see it.
It does.
Oh, I see it now, yeah. Yes, I see it now, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it does, okay.
With that being said, I'm going to, I just say point of order, I just think that we can only carry out what's on that since we called it a special meeting, only thing that should be discussed is about what's on the special meeting, period. If we look, for me, I believe that Sylvia and you were, but let my concern be, this very for the record.
Thank you,
We are in violation of the law.
thank you. Would you like to continue?
Thank you.
Yes. So what I was stating was that, based upon our bylaws and majority of board's bylaws, the position's supposed to be vacated. And after, the vacation, Gabby is supposed to take over, and Gabby then elects the president. The president then takes over and elects the other officers. We did not follow that procedure. November, Tommy should have vacated, Tommy's position should have been vacated. There was no position, there was no president at the time, technically, that we had it. We've already had it, but moving forward, and I don't know how you guys want to rectify that, we can table it. But in essence, all positions, and it's in our bylaws that they all were vacated in November.
There's also in there that it's a 2-year term though, and he wasn't on it for 2 years, so I think that's maybe where that miscommunication
I
happened.
see it where it say 2 years, so
Yeah,
I
it
guess
says 2
my
years.
question, you know when Tommy started as president?
November 2022, so he hadn't fulfilled 2 years of being in that role.
So my question is, if we're vacating seats, does the bylaw state, or is this what the bylaw is stating, that he does not have to be reelected, he can continue to move forward?
2 years, and that's for every officer election.
Yeah, his term
officer
is 2
seat.
years.
It's a term of 2 years, according to our bylaws.
So right now, there's a vacancy.
Yes. Yes, okay, just clarifying that, because from my understanding, and I have no, full clear view of exactly what this boards follow, so that's why I wanted to ask questions in reference to the bylaws to get some clarification. I think that he has his hand up, Mr. President.
Ryan, would you like to say something?
Yes, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, first and foremost, the executive director cannot conduct any of the business that will the board. He or she will only carry out the day-to-day function of the UEC. The board is president, make sure
I'm sorry, you're breaking up.
we'll get on a board where the executive director conducts board business.
We lost half of what you were saying.
She works for us.
We
She
lost.
don't conduct the board of business.
We lost half of what you said you had broke up. I'm sorry, can you repeat it?
The executive director can never carry out the position of what needs to be done on the board.
Okay,
That makes sense.
yeah,
He or she, I don't care what board it is, the board.
Yeah.
The board president, the officers of the board, needs to make sure things are doing right.
perfect.
But a lot of stuff being addressed today is legal questions, right? So I think that we should hold a meeting. I think we should make sure an attorney, as for like the 50th time, we need to have an attorney present at the meeting, so all the questions of legality can be answered. Thank you.
Was that a motion?
I will move to table the meeting until we have our attorney present
The meeting or the questions?
for a long period of time, maybe a week or two. If we don't have an attorney, we can go hire an attorney. I said that at the last meeting, and I'll say it again. So I move to table this meeting until we have an attorney present, so we can get all these things that Sylvia brought up, that I brought up, that Jim brought up, so we can get legal legal, advice. Thank you.
I thought that Gabriel told me we have an attorney.
We do.
Well, we got a motion, do we got a second to that?
Are we suspending this meeting?
The whole meeting?
That's
Like,
the
buttons,
motion he made.
designs?
That's the motion he made. I was just asking, was there a second to it?
Okay.
I don't second.
Do we have a second to the motion?
Because I'm confused on what the motion's.
The motion, from my understanding, the motion is to suspend the meet, table the.
Here.
Huh?
Can you, point of question.
Go ahead.
I would, just recommend we table the questions about the bylaws until we have an attorney present, but not to cancel the meeting. But that's just on the question. So,
I will amend my motion that any questions about the law will be tabled until we have attorney present, no matter what. Within the next 15 days, we need to have another meeting with an attorney present.
special meeting.
Why can't we discuss it but just not take any action?
I agree with that, but is there a second to his motion? It looks like it dies for lack of a second.
I like what you said. Will you please make a motion for what you just said?
I don't know if we need a motion because it's already.
It's already in the
I was just saying that I agree with Rodney in the sense that we probably shouldn't take any action on anything regarding the bylaws without legal advice. But without proper discussion, how do we know what to even ask the attorney?
And
So I like the idea of maybe having some discussion, but not taking any action on anything tonight.
I agree. That is ultimately what the plan was.
So I don't know if that's a motion, because I think we were,
It's on the agenda.
It sounds good to me.
it's an agenda item.
Well, anyway, I agree with you, as you stated.
Could you hear that, Rodney, or we're not gonna take any action on anything?
Can you repeat that, sir?
Just saying that maybe tonight, as opposed to waiting for an attorney to be present, we can still just have discussions, so then that might open up more questions that we will have for an attorney, and just take no action though tonight without legal counsel present.
And it'll be established in our minutes.
But I think discussion will be good to expose what questions we need to ask said attorney.
I think that right now, I don't, whatever the pleasure of the board is at this point in time, I thought that we were gonna start on the agenda, then when it came to comments by by the commissioners, that all this can be brought up. Questions, if anybody has questions, I would be great if it was all put in writing. So, and we can make sure the attorney, if we have an attorney, I don't know what's going on there. I agree, whatever you guys want to do, let's do it. I just don't think we should be going forward with these pushes or things that you're not even legally, we don't know what legal answers to. Too much speculation for all problems. Thank you.
I like your idea because and I'm not licensed in Indiana. But if you folks came to me as an attorney, I'd ask you to tell me what your questions were, which is really just reflecting what you said.
So, are we moving forward, Ms. President?
Yes, you can continue.
Okay, so, and then what I'll do is I'll reframe them into questions instead of, so my question is for the sign copy. My question is, for the attorney, did we follow proper procedures for, election of officers, which, I can withdraw if he was given a 2-year term, then he would be able to clarify that for me, which would be, clear and understanding. My next question is, do I need him to clarify contractually the staffing position? And do we technically right now have a contract for Gabby's position? Because from Gabby's perspective, she's interim, and we just need to figure out the procedures to move forward with a permanent person.
So we had listed the position in one of the local newspapers, opened it up to the public. One other person applied for it besides me. They called her to interview her. She wasn't willing to relocate. It was said repeatedly that it was going to get voted on to make it a permanent position. There was a contract, like draft contract in place. Job duties were all written out, and then it just kind of got pushed to the side.
Do you have that? Do you have those?
Yeah, I
documents?
have all the drafts, so I can put it in the board shared file so you guys can
Point of order.
look at it.
Yeah. That's what's your point?
The point of order, this is a personnel issue. We should not be discussing this and
Well, it's also in our bylaws, and we decided that we were gonna discuss bylaws. And it's in our bylaws.
we do not discuss personnel issues on any board in America in public. This is a contractual agreement. If you look at the executive, we want to have an executive session. Those issues are what you talk about in the executive session. I think that no personnel issue should be talked about. That's my point of order. Thank you.
I would concur with that.
Sorry.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. I think we need to, for adoption, I think you need to, re-review it, cause it was adopted on the 16th of October. And that is pretty much, my last questions in reference to, I have one more. Can we get a, understanding of how many positions are open?
Yeah, I have a document that's on the board shared file that I pulled it all into. I'll re-upload it, maybe it somehow got deleted, but I took the law and broke it down into exactly who appoints what position, what is entailing in that position as far as like being manufacturing, being a resident, the political parties, all that's written out.
Okay, I didn't see that in there.
I'll put it back on there.
I think that was about all that I had. Did anybody else have any questions in reference to the bylaws or anything that y'all want for the attorney to answer? I think just.
Proper question. May I, Mr. President?
Go ahead.
My question would be the understanding that we don't answer to any elected official. Is that correct? And understanding that we only answer to the people and the business that lives in the UEZ and the UEZ only. Anybody that lives in Michigan City outside of UEZ, we don't answer to them. We only answer to the people that lives in the urban enterprise zone. If I'm correct, making that statement correctly and open. We don't answer to the city of Michigan City. We don't answer to the mayor's office or to the council office. We answer to the people of the UEZ. Thank you. That's my question. I would like for the Lord to address as well. Thank you.
Anybody else got any questions?
Can I go back to a point?
Go ahead.
I'm a novice at interpreting open meeting law, just to be very, very clear. But this goes back to Rodney's point. I believe that Rodney was suggesting that discussing personnel does not occur in a public meeting. And when I read, the only meeting I think that is not public is an executive session. And I'm just speaking the number just for clarity, not like anyone is going to remember this. Indiana Code 514(1)(5-6.1. Okay, we're through that. Executive sessions may be held only in the following instances, where authorized by federal or state statute, and then for discussion of strategy, and it lists various items. My reading of this is it does not provide that personnel issues is eligible to be conducted in an executive session. I'm in favor of seeking clarification on that from council, because I'm an amateur reading this, but it sounds like, Rodney made his point of good faith, of course, but it sounds like we have a question, and I think it's good to take that up with council so that we know how to handle that.
Sound good to me. Anybody else got any questions?
I can also send you the notice of executive session so you can see the items that we can select from for those notices.
Yeah, that's good.
That helps to clarify.
Yeah, and I'm curious, but we're not gonna resolve it today. I'm
Right,
curious if our bylaws conflict with Indiana statute, and if
I
so,
would hope not. We had an attorney help us right now.
yeah, let Novak help us
Yeah.
address it.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to raise the question, that's all.
The only other question I would have would be based off of the answer to the election of officers and the terms. From what I read in the bylaws, my understanding is the vice president will fill in for the president under certain circumstances. Resignation, I did not see as one of those circumstances. It reads to me that we would have to appoint a new president in that situation. So that would just be something that I would want clarified.
So in the past, what the board has done is voted on moving the vice president up just traditionally on this board. You all would have to vote on it and then fulfilling the vice president seat, but again, it's a vote, so that'll be up to you guys.
It's a vote.
So we do whatever the pleasure of the board on that when it comes to the agenda item. It's on our.
Just so that we're doing it right.
I got you
in
completely.
the position correctly.
I agree. What was the other one?
Oh, the attorney.
Oh, so I guess this goes back to Rodney's point. My thing is we need to contractually sign into agreement with an attorney. If Anthony Novak is our attorney, but he's not on retainer, so he works by hours
Yeah.
or something. Maybe establishing how we select an attorney or how an attorney fits in this structure. I would like some clarification on that and maybe entering into a contract so that we can have him. I think it's important that he be at these meetings. I think as an board, we're asking these questions, and if he was here, we would have been able to, get some clarification and things of that nature, and maybe putting that in the contract for his retainer.
So I guess my question is, so we don't have an attorney on retainer?
Yeah, Anthony has been our attorney, but we've just been billed hourly for him because he hasn't done a ton of work for us. He helped us rewrite our bylaws. He's helped us with like various random questions we've had. We haven't had a lot of work for him, so he just does it hourly.
So oftentimes you spend a lot more on an attorney and you don't use them.
Yeah.
I got you.
Like, I'm not a big fan of having an attorney on retainer for my own organizational stuff, but I don't know if in this instance, do we need one on retainer? I get on.
It seems episodic that we need an attorney, so listening to what Gabriel said, that to me makes sense, that if we update for him, we've had 2 or 3 meetings where these discussions didn't come up, and if we're just voting, for example, on whether Mrs. McGillicuddy gets windows, I don't know that we need our attorney there for that.
I see Rodney, you got your hand up. You want to go?
Yes, at this time, I just, again, add to the attorney, I think we're premature to say that Anthony will be our attorney. There is protocol, and we must be fiscally responsible. If anybody here don't want to be fiscally responsible, then just don't hire anybody you want to hire. I would like to see the copy of the contract that we have with Anthony. I don't remember signing any contract or seeing a contract specifically hiring Anthony Novak represent the UEZ. But I many times asked, who is our attorney? If we have him, that person needs to show up at our meeting. If we don't have a contract, we don't have an attorney.
So
So at this point, I'm gonna move the table, the election, until we have an attorney to make sure we're doing the process right, since it's been brought up. Matter of fact, I'm gonna redo my motion to table this whole meeting. Because every day, we have too many legal questions that none of us can answer, but none of us pass the bar in the state of Indiana. I'm gonna move that we table this meeting until we have an attorney present. Thank you.
do we have a second to table this meeting until we have an attorney?
I'm gonna ask a question. Do we violate any sort of open door policy by tabling this meeting when it was possibly supposed to be our normal meeting?
In my feeble opinion, we don't violate the Open Meetings Act if we table it. And I know I'm kind of changing the subject, but Does Platinum Designs have a petition pending? Is that something that we ought to?
It's a grant that we were supposed to be looking at. I sent it out last week.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, should we at least address that, because that was on the agenda, and it may not be fair to make Platinum Designs wait if we have other issues to bring up. I'm just trying to bring that up for conversation.
Point of question. I don't think we should table the elections either, because we need, like you said, we need to vote on a president. He resigned. We need to be established as a board with the president, especially if we have done that in the past. So I think that maybe tabling these further questions that are legalized, like we said earlier, as far as the contract and things of that nature, and having that conversation, tabling those questions, that will be fine. However, I don't think that we should not go forward with a public meeting, because we could have people that are watching, and we could have people who took their time to view the meeting and things of that nature, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the bylaws right now, and it says, any vacancies created by resignation, death, or removal of an officer shall be filled by appointment of the board of directors. Shall, not may. So, I mean, that in legal terms means it needs to be done, if I'm not mistaken.
You're right, shall is a significant choice of words over may in under the law, so sure, yes.
So do we have a second for Rodney's motion?
We had a question, we have several questions to our attorney. One of those questions was about the election. Now, here we are again, interjecting ourselves as if we are the attorney and we answer. So why would we ask the lawyer this question if we think we know the answer to it? I don't want to, I don't know if I don't want to come off as being rude or anything, but it just seems, it's getting more, we can move, and we need to move forward with everything. But I still think that we should have an attorney present. Jim, somebody just asked a question about the election they wanted to ask the attorney. The attorney?
Mr. President, can I ask you, is Rodney suggesting that we don't conduct an election on the president, on the vacancy? Is that Rodney's motion?
Can you clarify your motion for us?
Yes, I'm saying that we should not conduct this meeting, period. But I also said that we do not move forward because there's a question of law that has been asked by one of the directors. None of us here qualified to act as an attorney. None of us can ask the bar. Unless that person's question is answered by the attorney, why are we moving forward with the, but that's one of the questions that somebody said you get an answer from an attorney.
For me, in regards to the vacancy of the presidential spot, I'm pretty clear on what the bylaws say.
Me too.
I am as well.
I am as well. And just to clarify, it was clarified to me based upon her and me giving new bylaws that he sits for two years. So the question about the election was no longer necessary to be answered because it was answered by us and the bylaws.
I believe it was Jim. Or maybe Nick. One of the two asked a question about the election. And if they feel that their question is answered about the election, which they wanted to hear from an attorney, if they want to listen to people forward, that's fine too. But at the same time, they asked the question. I don't have to ask the lawyer a question of how the election process is supposed to take place.
Well, I don't want to put words in my mouth, but you said your question was answered based upon the bylaws.
I don't think I had a question originally at all on
Okay.
the election part.
My question was.
I'm sorry, it was you, I apologize.
It was just clarification on when does the 2 years start? Does it start at the fiscal year when the elections are supposed to take place, or when that person obtains that seat? And I'm trying to look through the bylaws right
I
now to
don't
try
think
to
the
find
bylaws
it
are clear on
clarifies.
that, to be honest.
Every board I sit on, which has been dozens throughout the years, the term is defined by the term, not the person holding it. So the term is whatever, January 1, through 2 years of January 1. If in the middle of there, someone is appointed, right, or elected to fulfill a term, the term doesn't change. The
They
term
just
right,
finishing the term of the person.
So my question would be, when was that last term started, and when does that term end? Are we in the middle of the term?
Yeah, I can get that answer for you.
So,
Well, you said he started in
He started in
November.
November 2022, but what he's saying is that term could have been a 2022, or it could have been a it could have been a
I got you,
2021
yes.
term that was ending in 2022. We don't know when that term started.
I got you.
so, like Rodney said, until that's clarified, maybe we table the vacancy appointment until we get clarification on that, so we know if and when we appoint somebody new, when that term ends.
Because we're supposed to have an annual meeting in January, and it kept getting pushed back because we were waiting for all these seats to get filled. So we ended up not even meeting until April with our first meeting this year.
So, I don't,
I would like to amend my motion.
Go ahead.
I would like to amend my motion. I would like the motion that we hire, we will, get a lawyer on contract ASAP. On most boards, you take 3 people and they become the nominating, committee of who we should hire as our attorney. Gabrielle's responsibility is the board's responsibility. We need to hire an attorney right now. We can't move forward without an attorney. We don't have nobody on contract. That's clear. I move that we hire an attorney ASAP.
I just want to I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I just want to clarify in the motion you made that I would rather we not use the term on retainer. I don't think I heard you say that, but I want to be careful because of what's already been said. I don't think that we have enough use of this person to pay them a monthly fee. It should be, as Gabriel said, episodic as required.
because you can still obtain legal advice
I
when
agree with
someone
you. I
under
agree.
contract.
I agree with you, but you can put that in the contract.
Yeah, sure, so I,
Is there-
Contract.
is there-
And I agree, I'm with you about being fiscally responsible. I agree with you, but we need to hire an attorney right now.
Is there
We need to
some-
make sure an attorney's hired. I'm tired of asking them the same question 40 years old. Get the motion on the floor.
I'll second that
Hire
motion.
an attorney.
Thank you. So there's a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Can you restate the motion?
Can you restate your motion for me again, please?
To hire an attorney as soon as possible.
may I suggest an amendment? I don't think that we should exclude the possibility of deciding that Mr. Novak continues to be the attorney. I only say that because I don't form any opinion whether he is or is not competent for our purposes. I don't want to sound like we've prejudged that.
I understand what you're saying. I don't see nothing contractual. I don't see nothing contractual even with the hourly basis. If we only hire them hourly to do things, where's their agreement? There's no agreement. I ain't seen it.
Well, just a point of clarification, you also said to have a committee to seek out for an attorney? Did I hear that part?
I said that, yes, I said that we should appoint people. We should open it up publicly so anyone who wants to apply for the position of UEZ attorney.
Point of question. That then it's still going around in the circle because that falls back on the president, who is by law the only one that can create a special committee.
And we did have an engagement agreement with,
And that was my recommendation.
So there is a
That was
contract?
my recommendation.
It's still,
As a board, we can vote together.
and it was sent out to the board at the time.
so
Because I'm assuming if someone's not on retainer, all you're gonna have is an engagement letter.
Mhm.
You're not gonna have an
Yeah,
actual
you're not gonna have a full
contract. I'm asking
contract.
you.
Yes,
They're not on retainer.
I'm gonna make your point, I'm just gonna use different words. Best practice is that I send you an engagement letter, and it may provide that it's what I call episodic, or it may provide that you pay me monthly retainer.
Yeah.
But the engagement letter is sort of in the usual course of things, that is what we'll call the contract.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. It's not a true contract, but
But
it
it's
is,
still, okay.
Is there an expiration on
I'm uploading it right now, so you guys can.
Um,
I don't believe there was.
So there's no expiration on it?
Let me look at it.
I don't, frequently the exploration is like you hire me for a particular matter, and then when it's completed, best
That's the
practices, I say, thanks a whole lot, we've completed the matter.
Yeah.
Okay.
and say my dealings with attorneys is you have an engagement letter so that you've got worked out the hourly fee, like, and there's no surprise for that, and then I call you as needed, you bill me as needed, and if I never call you again, I never call you again.
Yeah, and our engagement
That's-
letter was for investment, deduction, billing matters, and bylaw revision, so specifically
that's
what
right.
he was contracted to do.
Defines the terms, isn't that 30, net 60, whatever, what's the hourly rate, I mean, you're just defining the terms at that point, if I use you.
Right, yeah,
Again, in my
that's,
Put it on the
experience,
drive.
yeah, that's very common.
Yeah,
It's
Right.
on dry, okay.
If we're a $100 million corporation, we probably set up a monthly sort of arrangement.
for sure.
Okay,
And it's on the drive, so you guys can review it.
thank you.
Any more discussion?
Oh, well, my question is for if we amended to have a, committee created, we still have to move forward with the election because only the president can establish and or create, special committees.
That's not correct. A majority vote can change of the board changes that. But that's here nor there. If there's something in writing stipulating that this man is our attorney, it begs, again, why is he not present at the meeting? If we can already work, why is it so hard to just, you know what I mean?
I'm just commenting that.
I'm sorry, you said what?
We had talked about him not
I'm
coming to the meetings because it was like $250 an hour for him just to sit here. There may not be any kind of questions for him to even answer, and it's just wasting our money at that point.
Yes, and Rodney, I respect what you're saying, but we only got so much money, and just what Gabriel said. If he's gonna sit here and all we're gonna do is approve grants for windows for 5 individuals, we don't need the attorney here. So I don't think I want him here as a matter of course.
Well, can I pose a suggestion?
I was just thinking, it didn't need a response. I was just saying, if we have this guy on retainer, why is he not at the meeting? It's an easy fix. And you just show up at this meeting to answer these questions. That's all I was saying.
I don't think we
But there's a
have-
motion and there's a second on the floor. There's
I
a
don't-
motion and a second, you need to have a vote.
I'm sorry. I don't believe we have him on retainer. I believe that we have him, that we pay him as needed. There is a categorical difference between on retainer or as we need him. If he's on retainer, we're sending him a monthly check regardless of whether he does any work. I don't think that that's the arrangement that was in place, and I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think that's the right use of our money.
Do you have the agreement? Do you have the MOU? Do you have anything?
She stated it's on the drive.
She just uploaded it to the drive.
It's an engagement letter.
Everybody here at this point. I just want to know, where's the approval?
Well,
Understanding, where's it at?
It's on the Google Drive.
sorry, go ahead.
I'm gonna make a motion that.
Well, we already have
we
a
got a
motion on the
motion.
table.
If there's-
Sorry.
If there's no more discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? All opposed?
I,
Do you remember what the motion was?
From my understanding, I thought the motion was to move to ASAP, hire, and look for attorney. That was the sum of
Yeah,
it.
and my question on this motion is, so the letter of engagement, what did you say it pertains specifically?
It was for the billing issues that we resolved last year, as well as the bylaw update. That was what we specifically
done.
needed him for. It is
So those
done,
two items
yes.
are done, so therefore the engagement letter contract time is over,
Yeah.
right? Because I can't find it
Yeah, he has answered a few like small questions I've had since then and was just billing out.
So technically, I just want to make sure that if we're making this motion and seconding it to find a new attorney ASAP, we're not in violation of any contracts that we currently hold,
Right.
which it doesn't sound like we are.
No.
And he would be able to, once again, apply to be the attorney.
Right.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Nay. It's like it's 3-3.
3-3.
Motion dies.
But I guess, if I can comment,
Go ahead.
I definitely think we need to figure out who is gonna be our attorney in regards to who we call. But I guess I felt like that motion was to find an attorney ASAP and get them like on retainer, which I'm not in favor of having someone on retainer.
That's what I think.
That's the only reason why I voted no.
Okay.
When I
I think
voted,
we still need to find an attorney who we can call.
I guess, not to cut you off, my question is, so do you still, even though the engagement is over, for that portion is over, we still been paying him correctly for you calling to ask questions, correct?
Whenever he sends us a bill, but he hasn't sent us a bill for a while, but I've only contacted him, I think, one time since we paid the bill, so it's like very negligible the amount that we owe him currently.
But I
Point of
think,
order, can we move forward now? The motion failed, it was a tie, it failed, can we move forward?
I think moving forward though, we need to clarify what he's going to be billing us for if we start asking questions.
I was gonna make a motion that we invite him to a meeting and interview him and clarify these points in terms of his contract.
Do I have a second to that?
Second.
Second, any more discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
All right, next.
I think that was it, right?
Attorney, yeah, I think that was it.
And then going back to just the agenda.
Yes,
This was
so do we have to
designs.
table the appointment of the president still?
That's the third thing on the agenda though, we have to do platinum designs next.
Okay, Platinum Designs. Would you like to explain a little bit about it?
So they did get a grant in 2022. They did the inside of their building in 2022. Now they're working on the outside. I'm pulling it up right now.
I think I seen it say windows.
Windows.
Yes.
Yes, some exterior work now.
There was supposed to be another.
There was supposed to be another quote. I did get a hold of the contractor today. They were supposed to send it over for whatever reason. It didn't get sent over to me, but they said that they were going to go with the Meyer glass and window anyways. So if we want to just look at that bid and the amount, they did get a second bid. It just hasn't been sent to us. However, look at the amount that they applied for and what the project total was, and we're talking about how much to approve them for.
And I have a question.
Okay.
Does our application state that they should have 2 bids?
Yes. So you guys can motion to table it until we get that second bid if you would like, or you can vote however you would like on this.
I motion that we table it because our application.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? So on the motion to table, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Platinum Designs grant is tabled. Next up is the Vice President. What is the pleasure of the board?
I can hear what it said.
Well,
I'm sorry, I repeated. I said Platinum Designs was tabled, so we moved on to the next item on the agenda, the election of Vice President. I asked, what is the pleasure of the board?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Because of what was stated, do we have to now then vote for the president and then for the vice president
Yes, and then
afterwards?
traditionally it was just that the vice president would move up, but you all have to say whether or not you're in agreement for that.
Okay, I move that we vote to move Tristan up into the presidential seat, vacating the vice presidency.
Second.
Any more discussion? Call for the vote. I'm sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay. Only because I'm going back to what I said before. I want to know what the terms are prior to, I have nothing against you being the president. I just want to know what the terms are, so we know when your vacancy ends.
Okay. Motion passes 6-1.
And the VP seat will now need to get voted on.
You have to call for,
Now I'll call for nominations for the vice presidency.
I nominate Jim as vice president.
Jim's a treasurer.
Treasurer, yeah, thanks.
And you're
I'm not myself.
I nominate
Secretary.
myself. You can, you're secretary.
Yeah, okay, all right, that's fine.
I nominate myself as vice president.
Second.
Us-
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations.
Thank
Did
you.
you vote?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't
I
hear
thought
you.
you said
Ryan, did
aye.
you vote on
Am I
that?
correct?
No, I didn't vote.
You abstained? Okay, you abstained.
You abstained?
No, I didn't hear what was said.
Oh, there was a vote on Sylvia being the vice president.
I voted, yeah, you just go ahead, yes.
Okay.
Aye. My vote is aye.
The next item on the agenda was is void. Dave Hartz was removed earlier today from the mayor. The next item on the agenda is end of year grants.
Oh, I'm sorry, can we go back to that? She has some, questions. I don't know if you saw her email, so maybe.
Yeah,
Okay.
about sending her the businesses that are participating. Yep. Yep. So I will get those sent to her.
Okay,
I just
perfect.
hadn't had time before the meeting.
Okay, there you go.
The next item is end of the year grants.
So that was your idea.
Oh yeah, me and Gabrielle were having a discussion, and I think I'm pretty sure our grant cycle ends in October. And I just wanted to throw it out there to the board. I was suggesting I know the UEZ runs majority through the 1st, 3rd, and 5th ward. Maybe see if we can collaborate or work with those council representatives to try to host an event or something to present what word am I looking for?
Educate.
Educate the UEZ, educate residents of the UEZ a little bit more about the program towards the end of our grant cycle. Depending on, I think we approved for $40,000 for business, $30,000. That's how much we budgeted for this year. I just want to make sure at least we use all of it and try to get as much out to the UEZ as possible. So that's just a suggestion I wanted to put out there, so I added it on there.
I agree. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, definitely something we should be doing.
That's
Definitely is.
Exactly.
For sure.
So, is that something we have a motion on?
I,
I mean, you can if you want.
I just want to make a suggestion and maybe see if you can reach out to those representatives and try to set up a meeting or set up something where we can discuss an idea, get a layout of a time frame as well. Because October. I know it's on July, but October's approaching pretty fast, so I'm trying to get the ball rolling on it. So that's some-
And if you guys could get that lined up, this is my building, so I can, if you want to have it here, I can coordinate with our guy that runs the building and have it over here in the gym or right here in the gym. And,
Okay.
if you need a space,
Okay.
yes, we can do it right here.
Perfect.
Just give me some time to line it all up, make sure we don't have classes and stuff going on.
Okay.
Any more discussion on that? You got anything, Rodney?
No, I just want to get everything that's on the agenda discussed and voted or whatever we're talking about. I hope that, please make sure we put that on the, new business for the next meeting.
Okay. Next is public comment. Anybody got anything?
Okay, so this may take a little bit of time, so I just want to make sure everyone else has spoken up first.
Well, we're on public comment.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, that's right.
Is there anybody online?
No.
You got anything, Jim? Bruce, I'm sorry.
So this is something I think a question.
Sorry, you have to close public comment.
Oh, I apologize.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's fine. it's fine.
Closing public comment. You had something you want to add, Bruce?
Yeah, so I think something we want to ask the attorney and is how much conversation we have outside these meetings, because I've been spending a lot of time trying to go through the Open Meetings Act in my amateur way of coming to understand it. And I believe that there is a legal question, and I don't think I know the answer to it, as to how much business of the association we can discuss outside of the meetings. And I know a couple of folks asked me to call them, and I just want, I'm not being antisocial, I'm just trying to be careful. So I'm not in a position to express a legal opinion, but I do think that we want clarification about how many conversations we have on association business that did not occur in the open meetings.
So basically a, NDA, non-disclosure agreement, if that's necessary, or something of that nature.
No, let me give you sort of the, the underbelly of the beast. Pretend for sake of discussion that Jane Smith files some kind of action claiming that we violated the Open Meetings Act. I know we'll be paying a lawyer to go through everything. We don't want to be paying a lawyer to go through stacks of emails, or worse yet, I'm pretending that it's directed at me. The lawyer says to me, Bruce, I see that you had 5 telephone conversations on association business. What'd you do to discuss? And I'm like, I don't know, it was 6 months ago, I don't remember. Not good. And so I think it's very helpful for all of us to get a clarification so that we don't have unpleasant discussions with our counsel in the hypothetical event that somebody was to raise that kind of challenge.
I agree.
See, Rodney, you got your hand up?
Yes. I said this, the last 2 meetings, I'm gonna say it again, we definitely need to sign a non-disclosure agreement. The mayor's office has, conflict of interest agreement, we all already have signed. And again, that's another question I have for the attorney, but here we go there. There should be very limited conversation regarding what we're doing down there about like somebody coming and talk to you or a grant, how to go about doing this, that, and the other. I have to fill out the direction. I think we have a non-disclosure agreement, but I think we all should have to sign a non-disclosure. Thank you.
I don't know what Rodney means by a non-disclosure agreement. I don't, if you could clarify that, Rodney.
Non-disclosure is what it is, just like a conflict of interest form that the mayor's office and her attorney feel that every board should sign.
Are you saying?
You can manipulate the situation to where you can really go out and people can call and you can do something that's not appropriate. And that's where we need to have an attorney come in. I'm going to reserve some of my language. I just think we should have a non-disclosure.
I agree, Rodney, it's something to present to an attorney. I will sort of gratuitously offer that a non-disclosure, it doesn't seem applicable here. Non-disclosure is, I ask you, I'm considering investing in your company and I want a lot of information, and you say, sign the non-disclosure and we could talk about it. Mm-hmm. And I, not having thought this through, Rodney, I'm thinking that like we're a public board, we're subject to the Open Meetings Act. I feel like a non-disclosure kind of has the wrong optics.
The reason why you just laid it out. You just argued my case for me. You're going to invest in somebody else's business, and I can tell you I will get this money, this, and this. I sit on this board, I can assure you X, Y, and Z will happen. That's why we need to put in non-disclosure. That's just my opinion. I got a few more months left, and you guys, I just want to put safeguards in place. That's it, that's all. Thank you. I have no more comments.
Well, that's a lawyer.
Thank you.
Point of question, I have a question in regards to that. And just clarifying, y'all clarify for me, for this being a board that presents, we go out and we present the information to the people for them to come acquire the funding.
Mm-hmm.
So isn't me telling you and living in the UEZ that, hey, your windows are, a little distorted, you're older, you can't do it, maybe you should apply for this. What in essence are we, I think just point of clarification, we need to figure out what are we not disclosing? Because all of that information becomes public. Everybody knows right now that the world knows that what they are applying, Platinum Design is applying for this grant, and they were tabled. So
I'm wondering if he's talking about the tax credits, the non-disclosure in reference to tax credits. Maybe he can clarify on that. That's what he's discussing.
Did you?
So if the question's asked to me, I have no more discussion. I will just wait for an attorney to come by. I think that Bruce brought up my main reason why we should have a non-disclosure. That's the end of that for me. Again, I'm logging off, I have no more comments, thank you.
Thank you. Anything else from anybody else? Motion to adjourn? Anybody?
Moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.